and pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, whom you've already met, but I have a little introduction. Anna Kaufman has over 6 years of presentation experience. She, as a local district leader for Toastmasters, she spent more than 4 years in a leadership capacity, presenting to groups of 200 plus, and I have listened to many of her presentations over those years. Her expertise in customer experience, combined with improvisational and stand-up comedy training, you also learn a lot about people, has taught her the importance of understanding and refining speaking styles. She's the founder of Speak Like a Badass, a coaching and consulting firm that focuses on unleashing our inner badass through communication. Today, Anna is here to ignite your curiosity about how and why speaking matters in your life. Please welcome Anna Kaufman. Choose your own speaking adventure.
Raise your hand if you've read a Choose Your Own Adventure book. Maybe I guess when you were a kid. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's super cool because as you're reading, you get to the end of the paragraph and it asks you to make a choice. And based on what you choose, you go to that page and your story unfolds based on your choices.
Thank you. Perfect. Today we are going to have a Choose Your Own Adventure about speaking. And there are 3 paths, 3 choices that we're going to go down. The first choice in our Choose Your Own Speaking Adventure is the prepared speech. This happens often, right? When might this happen in your life? Think about at work. When might you need to give a prepared speech? A presentation.
Staff meeting.
A staff meeting, definitely. You've prepared something, you have to give an update on a project. When else? At work, might you need to give a prepared speech?
Quarterly meeting.
A quarterly meeting, absolutely. Definitely. Another possibility of a prepared speech outside of the work context might be a special occasion. Raise your hand if you've ever been to a wedding. Right? Keep your hand up if you've participated by giving a toast at the wedding. Yeah, a toast is a prepared speech. Years ago, I was the maid of honor at my stepsister's wedding. I was going to give a toast. And part of the reason I joined Toastmasters was to prepare for that toast. It was an opportunity to practice in front of a group of people, none of whom knew my stepsister, but they allowed me that chance to get out the kinks and to figure out where people would laugh, so I knew where to pause, and that gave me the confidence to speak in front of my family members, which is a way more challenging crowd. Another opportunity to give a prepared speech could be as an advocate for a community organization. I've been involved in Toastmasters for many years, and I also support other nonprofits. A couple of them are in Waltham, Mass. Recently, I was on a panel representing one of the nonprofits that I support. As a member of the panel, as a representative of that organization, I needed to be able to speak confidently about the group so that others who didn't know about the organization would understand the mission, why we exist, and be able to walk away with a positive impact. Have you had those kinds of experiences? Have you had those opportunities? I see a nod from Joe. Joe, you mentioned that this is a good place for people to go early on in their career or later on. Have you had some opportunities in your professional work or outside of it to practice that prepared speech?
All the time.
Can you give us a couple examples that come to mind?
Well, for example, yesterday I was at a networking event, a meeting, a monthly meeting that we have, and had to give a presentation just so that people would understand what kind of work I do and what's involved in what it is that I do. And I presented on something specific that most people don't know about, and so it was interesting, I think, for them to give them some education as opposed to, hi, I'm Dave and I do this, that, and the other thing.
Right. what do you think would have been different if you hadn't prepared? If you didn't know what you were going to say and how you'd say it?
Would have probably been a lot of ahs and ums and, you know, the normal things that one sees when someone is unprepared or not used to speaking in front of a group.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that experience. For the others in the room, when you have a presentation, a talk, a toast that you're preparing for, how do you feel if you know what you're going to say, you have it laid out, you're confident about it in your head? How does that feel?
Definitely more relaxed.
More relaxed.
Mhm.
Definitely. Okay. How else might you feel? Physically in your body, you put your shoulders back a little bit, confident, comfortable. Yeah. How else might you feel? Yeah,
Eager.
Charlotte.
Eager.
Eager. You want to get the information out. You have so much of it that you want to share that you're excited to share it. Definitely. How else might you feel if you're really prepared?
Powerful, but in a positive way.
Powerful. Is it? I guess there are other ways to be powerful. Powerful in a positive way, specifically. Okay. That is what you gain from the practice that you get here. All of those opportunities to practice and allow yourself to get the words out, to see how it feels to say them for the first time in that particular order, that's a chance you have here. Another opportunity, another path, another adventure we could go down, apart from prepared speeches, is impromptu speaking. Now this happens on a prosaic basis, on an everyday basis. Think about this morning, perhaps you went to your local coffee shop. Did you interact with the barista? I know I did when I went to Starbucks to fill out my tea. Did you talk to the clerk at the grocery store when you went to get your groceries? Does that count as speaking? Sure does. It sure does. Why not? That's an opportunity to interact. Maybe you'll see that person again next week when you do your next grocery trip. Maybe you'll never see them again, and that's okay too. So if you said something wrong or you said something that wasn't funny, that they didn't realize you thought was supposed to be funny, that's okay. You can practice those opportunities and those chances to interact. Other impromptu opportunities, what about an interview? An interview has some aspects of prepared speeches, but an interview, you might get a question that you didn't anticipate. Another favorite in the impromptu of mine is a date, which is basically like an interview, but over dinner usually. It's a chance to answer questions that you didn't necessarily expect and see how that goes. And you only get better at that kind of impromptu speaking through practice. The third choose your own adventure is feedback. Raise your hand if you've ever had to give feedback. You've been asked to give feedback in some context. Most of us have. Sometimes it's in a work setting, in a performance review, a chance to share with colleagues or supervisors or people that work for you what's going well and hopefully what can get better. There's an art and a skill to doing that. The evaluations that we do in Toastmasters are the perfect place to be able to gain those kinds of skills, not only when you get up here to do it yourself, but also when you observe others sharing their feedback. How do you word something in a way that's positive and constructive? How do you express to someone the suggestions you have without making them feel that they did something wrong or that they weren't good enough? Other chances for feedback. If you are part of a community organization and other people have input as to what you should be doing differently or where you can make improvements. Have you ever been asked to answer a survey? That's a perfect opportunity for feedback. All of these opportunities, all of these paths, all of these adventures in speaking happen every single day for every one of us. Whether it's a simple interaction at the grocery store, or a really important meeting at work, or personal interactions with our family and friends. each of those speaking opportunities is a chance to hone your skills, and you can get the practice you need in the safe environment here to be able to conquer and tackle all of those adventures. What will your next speaking adventure be?